John Schneider and Pete Carroll murdered this draft. They had themselves probably the best draft among everybody out there. Today, we're going to discuss that. Look, you can make the argument that the Seattle Seahawks are probably a superstar quarterback away from potentially competing for a Super Bowl. Now, I'm not personally a big fan of Drew Lock, but I will say this about Lock. He still has a tremendous amount of potential. And Pete Carroll with a run-heavy scheme could potentially get the best out of him. But that's not what we're talking about today. In fact, today we are talking about two offensive linemen that the Seattle Seahawks drafted, and I am surprised that they're able to come away with this type of talent. With the number 9 overall pick, the Seattle Seahawks take starting left tackle, superstar left tackle, Charles Cross, a player that I am in love with. Most people had him ranked as the number 3 offensive tackle, but most people also agree he has the most potential out of the entire class at the offensive tackle position. But an even bigger haul than that, in my opinion, is Abraham Lucas in the 3rd round. Some people said he could have potentially won in the 1st round in other draft classes, but at the very least, he should have likely have went top 45. And the fact that he fell to pick 72 is insane. There are not 71 better players than this guy. I can guarantee you guys that. And the tape speaks for itself. One of the things I love about Abraham Lucas is the fact that he's a pure right tackle. He isn't a left tackle converted to the right side. He is a right tackle. You get what you get with this guy. Now, when it comes to Abraham Lucas, he is definitely a better pass blocker than he is a run blocker. He has some limitations in the run game. Now, having limitations does not mean he's a bad run blocker. In fact, he understands angles and he's strong. And I think with those two things combined, you have the ability to become a great run blocker. Take this first play as an example. At the point of attack, he is going to hook this defensive lineman. From the get-go, the defensive lineman has already lost, just solely based off the angle that was taken on the initial contact. Now, the defensive lineman, knowing he lost this block, just tries to do whatever he can to get past Lucas. Now, he's off balance, and Lucas puts him in the dirt and makes him pay for it. And this isn't the only time that Lucas is able to do these things. Take this next play as an example. In this play, he's going to pull and get through that 3 gap and seal it off. And the running back is going to run this off the outside hip of Lucas, and he picks up a big chunk of yards. Lucas has shown so much on tape that I absolutely love. He does all the small little things correctly. One of the major things when it comes to offensive linemen is how do they process and how do they take their angles when they run block or pass block? What type of angles are they taking when they're pulling? And from this play right here, it's clear that Lucas gets it. He understands angles. And let me break it down for you. As this play begins, Lucas knows exactly where this play is going. He's going to pull to the left. Now here's the thing. He understands that he needs to hook this linebacker here. He needs to create that lane for that running back to get to the outside. So when you watch Lucas on this play, you see that he's going to hook that linebacker. He essentially allows the running back to take the outside lane. Abraham Lucas has played against Kayvon Thibodeau a number of times and has really held his own. One of the things I love about Lucas is his feet. The guy has great footwork. When he jumps out of his stance, whether he's getting vertical or just setting up in a 45-degree set, he does a great job. And look at the contact that he makes right here. Left hand right on the outside shoulder, right hand on the inside pad. This is beautiful. It does not get better than that. And from there, he just mirrors Kayvon Thibodeau, and he does not lose on this rep. Now, Thibodeau does throw him here, but he isn't off balance. He stays with Thibodeau, and he just mirrors the superstar defensive end. That's a great rep right there. Now, when it comes to pass sets, there are 3 different pass sets. There's a jump set, 45-degree set, and a vertical set. On this play, you're going to see Lucas get vertical, and he does a great job. He's quick, explosive, nice base, makes great contact. And that's what you want to see from an offensive tackle. Look, when it comes to Abraham Lucas, the guy looks fantastic on tape. His punch, his strike, his pass sets. And I absolutely love his game, and I think there's so much that he can develop into. Now, I will say this. I think Andy Dickerson is going to have to coach up Abraham Lucas just a little bit. Will he be a starter year 1? I don't know. Jake Curhan was pretty good last year, right? Especially for a rookie, a guy really just getting into the league. But I will say this, Curhan was undrafted, and if I had to project Curhan, I think that's more so of a future backup. I think Abraham Lucas is a projected starter, right? That's much different. Plus, you don't take a 3rd round pick and expect him to be a backup his entire career. Now, if he doesn't start this year, he will be starting for sure by the time the 2023 season comes around. I think he just has a couple things to really develop. Now, the steal of the draft, of course, most people agree is Charles Cross. Man, I love this football player. He's mean, he's physical, he's tough, he's nasty, and he's pretty much a technician at that left tackle position. and he will be a starter day one. Jumping into the tape of Charles Cross, the guy's a superstar. I have no doubt in my mind he is a day one starter for the Seahawks. Just the way he plays the game of football, his pass protection, it's top tier. Take this play as an example. Cross is going to get out of his stance. He's going to mirror this defensive end. Look at the base, looks fantastic. And look at the punch. And then the defensive end is going to counter. There's the counter. And Cross doesn't fall for the counter. Cross is going to just stick with it, stick with the defensive end, mirror him, and shut him down. And this is not a one-time play. Charles Cross really does a great job mirroring, and I think this may be one of his biggest assets. He doesn't fall for the fake moves, the counters. He just mirrors perfectly. And I think this is one of the things the Seattle Seahawks are going to love about Charles Cross. Cross shows a player in pass protection who can mirror well, punch, and pretty much do all the things at a high level. But he's also equally as great in the run game. Jumping forward, check this next play out. You're going to get a dual block between the left tackle, left guard, and watch Cross turn and really just seal this defensive end off. As the play begins, you're going to see him do a fantastic job getting to number 8, turning him and sealing it off for the running back to pick up a big chunk of yards. On this next play, Cross is going to do a great job to get to the inside of this defensive tackle and just seal him off. This shows his ability to reach inside, and he can also do this to the outside if needed. But this is a fantastic job. Look at this. He gets to the inside of that defensive lineman and shuts it off. He shows the quick feet, the explosive hips, and that right there is a winning block. I know someone will say, well, why is he using his back to make the block? Doesn't matter. A winning block is a winning block. And that right there is a winning. Great job on that play. Now, overall, I think the Seattle Seahawks did a great job because their offensive line will now be set for the future. Gabe Jackson, Kyle Fuller, Damon Lewis are 3 interior offensive linemen that I have a lot of confidence in. At the same time, you have your left tackle spot locked in for at least 5 seasons. And then you have to extend Cross, but likely he will be extended when that time comes. And then you have Abraham Lucas for the next 4 seasons. And don't forget how much Gabe Jackson will help Lucas develop. Overall, love the draft. Let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.